Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about my anticipated releases for 2023. So I'm sorry if I feel a bit rushed in this video. I have filmed this already and I spent like an hour talking to you about books, and I went to edit it and I've got a new phone and I downloaded it as like a .ts file and I couldn't edit it. And I'm really annoyed because I spent hours filming like 3 videos that day. So I'm a bit cheesed off to be here again. So I'm sorry if I forget to say something because I think I've already said it or anything like that. I'm going to try my best to remember what I said. Also, do we need the ring light on? I feel like this half of my face is very dark. Let me put the ring light on. Okay, is this better or is this way too bright? Oh, it's way too bright. And now I've left my coffee over there. What am I doing? Okay, is that enough? Is that like an extra help? Glad we're starting the year as we mean to go on. Chaotic. I definitely think the camera quality is better now that we're lit up a little bit. Okay, grab yourself a coffee because I feel like this is going to be a long one. I have 18 books to show you, I think, today, all releasing in 2023, all throughout the year from January to November, more of course in the beginning of the year because that's what we know about so far. So I'm going to be doing these in date order, so starting with January 3rd, we have The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. This is a new trilogy following on from the Cruel Prince series. Obviously, I cannot give a very detailed synopsis to you because it would spoil the Cruel Prince series. It is following Oak, who, as you know, is Jude's little brother in the Cruel Prince series. How many times can I say that? And it is following Oak as he returns to Fairy and has to fulfill the role that he is destined for. So again, I don't want to give too much away on that because of the fact it would spoil the Cruel Prince series for you, but I am so excited about this. I'm so out of YA, but that series there, Cruel Prince series, is the best thing to grace this earth. I'm going to be honest with you. It is 100% one of my favourite series of all time. Definitely my favourite YA series of all time. Fantasy series. Maybe even just my favourite YA series. I don't know. I just love it so much. It brings me so much comfort. And I'm so beyond ready to read this book. But I can't wait to get my hands on that ASAP. The minute my hands get on that book, it is getting demolished. Also on January 3rd, we have got Stranded by Sarah Daniels. I've had access to this book for a little while through NetGalley and still haven't read it, so I'm horrified with myself. But I might sit down today and read it because it's very exciting to me, this synopsis. It is back to the days of YA dystopian that we all loved in like 2013, absolute peak era of movies and books and everything. It says it is Snowpiercer meets the Hunger Games. Mwah. Absolutely yes please. That is my cup of tea right there. I mean, this is coffee, but it is my cup of tea. So we follow this luxury cruise ship called Arcadia, and they have been travelling for 40 years on this ship to avoid the apocalyptic war that has happened on land. And so for 40 years they have travelled the seas and never docked on land. And I think we follow some characters who obviously have never lived on land and would like to know what's going on and come up with a plan. So it doesn't give a lot away in this synopsis, but to be honest, Snowpiercer meets the Hunger Games is all I needed to hear, especially post-apocalyptic war. Yes, please. I will be reading that, hopefully today. And yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. It horrifies me that I hadn't read it when I was given it because I wanted to so badly. And I've not heard anybody talking about this book and I'm so confused why, because I feel like, yeah, we're all, okay, maybe out of our YA dystopian phase, but we can all go back for a little bit to read this book, and I will be, and I'm really excited about it. Moving on to January 5th, you're going to have to bear with me with this one because it's definitely already published in like 2013, but I don't know if it's publishing in the UK now, and that's why it's coming out. But you can now pre-order the book here, so I'm going to mention it, but I'm aware that many of you may have read it, and that is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I'm just very confused on the matter, but it's there for pre-order. I couldn't order it before, so for me it's releasing in January. So this book sounds absolutely heartbreaking. It follows Elsie and Ben. They meet each other on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and I think they have this like absolute whirlwind romance that just in just a couple of months they fall completely head over heels in love. And then by May, so 5 months later, they elope, and only 9 days after they elope, Ben is killed in a crash, I think he gets hit by a lorry and dies on impact. And I think it's going to be a very long discussion on grief and coping with loss. And the fact that they were still like in that early honeymoon phase, like there's so many emotions. I just can't even grasp how heartbreaking this is going to be. And I'm so glad that this synopsis is written by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because you just know that she's going to execute this synopsis well. It is going to work. It is going to make me cry, because if anyone has the power to make me cry, it is Taylor Jenkins Reid. Nobody else makes me cry like that woman and her books. My coffee's gone. That's a travesty in itself. And the last line of the synopsis is interweaving Elsie and Ben's charmed romance with Elsie and Susan's healing process. Forever Interrupted will remind you that there's more than one way to find a happy ending. I have goosebumps right now with that sentence. I absolutely love it. I think it's just going to be such an important book to read. Like, grief is such a hard thing, and it's so hard for books to accurately capture it. And yeah, I feel like with everything going on in my life, I need to read this book right now. And I'm so excited to release in just 4 days. So yeah, that's definitely on my list. I'm well aware that 53,000 people have already rated it, so it's definitely released, and I'm so sorry for bringing it up. I just don't know why it's now being published. I'm assuming in the UK, I don't know, but I have pre-ordered it. So in case you didn't know about that book, or you didn't know that you could now order a copy, unless you could before, I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know what's going on. Moving on to the 10th of January, we have 3 book releases, which is insane to me. So let's get into it. First of all, we have City Under One Roof by Iris Yamashita. This sounds fascinating. So Kara is a detective who comes to a small village after a teenager finds a severed hand and is having to find, like, it's in Alaska, there's this murder case. So obviously a very snowy, wintry vibe. In this town, the only way to access it is through a tunnel. It's like a completely secluded town with only one tunnel entrance, which already piques my interest. But this tunnel entrance gets snowed in during a blizzard, and so Kara cannot leave the town that she came to investigate the murder from. And while she's there, I think more odd, suspicious things keep happening, maybe some more deaths. And so it's kind of like one of those isolated, secluded mysteries and thrillers that I absolutely love. And I love the concept of the town being completely like snowed in, or like completely like stuck in. I'm assuming they're stuck in mountains, and so the tunnel is the only way because of the mountains. That to me, wow, like talk about atmosphere. I really can't wait to read that and just see like more of a world building more than the story or the plot. The plot to me sounds quite basic. It's a detective solving a mystery, but the idea of like a snowed in walled mountain town, really, really interesting, especially in the winter. So I definitely want to pick this up closer to its release rather than later, because it's going to be winter. And I wish they'd released this earlier. I wish this was more like beginning of December, because I would really have enjoyed that. But yeah, this sounds really interesting, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it, so pick it up if it sounds interesting to you. Still on January 10th, we have X's and O's by Amy Lear. I know this is a second book in an influencer series. I have not read the first book, nor do I think I will, but this synopsis sounds so much better, so this is what I'm going for. We follow Tara, who is like a very romantic, lovesick girl, and so she pushes all of her partners away. All the guys she dates, she kind of like overwhelms them, and after a very long sequence of failed romances, she decides she's going to engineer her perfect meet cute during a second chance romance. So she is going to bring about her own tropes. She's going to purposely manufacture this second chance romance. And I hate second chance romance. So my instant reaction was absolutely not. I do not want this book. But then I read the rest of the synopsis, and Trevor, her new roommate, who is completely anti-relationship, he is just like, no, absolutely not. He's a firefighter. Okay, I'm into you, Trevor. He helps her with this, and they may end up finding romance in each other instead of the exes. That to me sounds delicious. That sounds like a romance I can get on board with. Again, I absolutely hate second chance romance, so I'm really glad that's not what we're going for here. But I'm really, really excited about this. Hopefully I don't have to read the first one, because I'm really just not sure that's what I want to read. I mean, I might grab it on Kindle, but I don't want to do it when I don't really care about the synopsis, but we'll see. But the synopsis of this one sounds really unique, really interesting, and I'm very, very excited about it. Next, on again January 10th, we have Lost in the Moment and Found by Shauna Maguire, which is number 8 in the Wayward Children series. This one follows Antoinette in the world where lost things go. So I think Antoinette lives in a shop where everything you lose in the world, be it like a sock or, I don't know, a brush, goes to this shop, okay? And I assume people buy it in this world, I don't know. But Antoinette loses her father, and in the hunt for him, she comes across a door, and then she goes through the door and she has to pay the price. Very vague, but I absolutely love the Wayward Children series. It is definitely one of my favourite, and I'm so excited to pick this up, and Jade was so kind as to pre-order it for Christmas for me, so I'm going to pick that up as soon as it arrives and hopefully buddy read it with Jade, because we love buddy reading the series together. I'm so excited about it. The cover is my favourite, but when are we going to get Caden's story? That's all I want. Come on, I think that's what everybody wants, and so Shauna Maguire is letting us wait forever. January 17th. God, there's so many releases in January. It is insane. We have The Drift by CJ Tudor, and this is a chunky beast. I'm going to be honest, the synopsis of this sounds really, really confusing. I'm not really sure what's going on. Like, it sounds kind of overwhelming. But from what I've gathered, there was a boarding school bus of children driving that crashed in a snowstorm. Another person that is a detective in a car full of detectives, or people in the same uniform, it says, also crash. And then someone else, I can't remember, and then they all come to a chalet ski resort in the middle of this snowstorm blizzard, and they don't trust each other. And I think it's set during COVID because it says deadly virus. And yeah, and then it says like the generator starts to shut off. I think it's just going to be a very dark, scary story. It says if they can't hear you scream, no one can save you if they can't hear you scream. I mean, that sounds pretty dark. 3 groups of strangers, a deadly killer, and no escape. This could be really, really great, or it could be really, really bad, and I don't know which one it's going to be because I'm kind of overwhelmed by that synopsis. But I do have this, so I'm going to pick it up in the next couple of days, and I will let you know, hopefully in a reading vlog. But yeah, this was interesting. It's really long. I mean, it's only 400 pages, but it feels really, really long for a thriller slash, it says thriller slash horror. But CJ Tudor has very hit or miss for me. Like, one of my favourite authors in some books, and then other books just don't hit for me. So I'm hoping this one's going to be a hit. I really, really hope so. On the 19th of January, we have God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I've heard a lot of good things about this already from ARC readers. It is following, it's a very vague synopsis, so bear with me. It is following a girl called Kisan who kills gods. And that's her entire job, God Killer. I know, shock. I know, shock. What a name for a book. And then one day she meets a god that she cannot kill, and then she's on the run. And then on the run she meets a god who has got a quest of his own, and they partner together, but he can't tell her he's a god because she's a god killer. I mean, very vague synopsis, but I've seen good reviews, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it doesn't need a good synopsis because the cover. That's all it needed. The cover is beautiful. The cover is everything. The cover is stunning. I'm gonna buy it for that alone. I'm sorry, I'm gonna. It looks stunning. It sounds interesting. I just wish we had a bit more meat to that synopsis, but I think it's gonna be good. It's a short one. It says it's 304 pages. That is short for a fantasy. So yeah, hopefully it's good. It has very, very good ratings so far. So fingers crossed that that is going to be good. I'm very intrigued by it. The next book that we have is Final Offer by Lauren Asher, which releases on the 31st of January. This is the 3rd and final book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. And you know what? I've only read the first book so far. I have the second one there that I haven't read yet, because this one follows Cal, and he is my favourite of the 3 brothers from the first book. From the minute I opened that book and met those brothers, he was my favourite. He's the sarcastic one. Now, I fall for a sarcastic, funny man, okay? So I am really excited by his story, and I think that book follows Declan. I'm just not a fan of Declan. So I haven't read that one yet, but I will this month in order to pick up Final Offer. But I am so excited to get Cal's story. I don't know about the synopsis. I don't know who he's meeting. I don't know what the circumstance is. But unfortunately, I do think it's a second chance romance. I think he needs a house and she's the name on the deed, unfortunately, and he has to like become friends with her or something after he broke her heart. And as I've just gone on a spiel about how I can't stand second chance romance, I'm not excited. However, as I said, Callahan is the best brother. He does make me chuckle. I do have a deep love for him. So fingers crossed, it's going to be a good one anyway. Moving into February, we have a mention of a book that definitely is not releasing in February. So it says that on February 2nd, according to Goodreads, Heartstopper Volume 5 is releasing by Alice Oseman, obviously the 5th book in the Heartstopper series, graphic novel. That's not releasing. There is no pre-orders out, there's no announcements. I think Alice Oseman's taking a break. But I'm mentioning it because that is the release date it says on Goodreads, so I'm mentioning it in the hopes that we will manifest a release date in 2023. Because if we don't get Volume 5 in 2023, I actually might have a meltdown. You know what I mean? I need this book. I need the serotonin that comes with Nick and Charlie. And if I don't get it in 2023, my year is ruined. So even though it's definitely not coming out on February 2nd, I'm putting it in this video to manifest. I have nothing else to say. If you don't know the Heartstopper series, we follow Nick and Charlie, who are exploring not only their sexuality, but also they are friends and all parts of the LGBT community, and yeah, just following romance in a friendship group. It's very lovely. It's a very sweet romance. It's a very sweet friendship group. And I just love how diverse this book is, or this series is, I should say. So yeah, we're just manifesting here. Send good vibes. On the 28th of February, we have A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, and I have no idea what it follows. I think it's absolutely nothing to do with Priory of the Orange Tree other than it's in the same world, and we'll kind of see what caused the world to end up the way it did in Priory of the Orange Tree. But I'm going to be completely honest, I remember nothing from Priory of the Orange Tree. So this isn't one I'll be picking up on its release date or anything. But I will be picking up probably some point this year. I'm a little bit miffed about it, to be honest, because they kept advertising Priory of the Orange Tree as a standalone. That was like its main marketing point. It's a standalone fantasy. We never have standalone fantasies. And okay, yeah, the story is standalone. But now they're releasing a prequel and they're like, it's a standalone prequel. I mean, no, you've made it a series now. You've made it a series. You didn't have to make it a series. You putting a series title on it, of which the series title is The Roots of Chaos, whether they're individual stories or not, you have made it a series. And you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have, because you're still advertising it as standalones. I mean, yes, they're standalone stories, but they're now series. So, I mean, you can pick beef with me if you want, but I said what I said and I stand by what I said. It has great ratings so far, but I don't know whether they're like real ARC readers or people just saying, I can't wait for this book, 5 stars. But it's probably going to be quite good, you know. Priory of the Orange Tree was a 3.5 for me, mainly because I think it shouldn't have been a standalone. I think they tried to fit way too much into the story and it should have been separated into maybe 2 books. And that's coming from someone who loves a standalone book, okay? But it was a bit overwhelming. I do want to pick this up, but again, probably only on audio and probably only when I have the time and I'm in the mood for a fantasy. But I wanted to mention it because Priory of the Orange Tree was so popular and I did enjoy it. So I do want to see what this is all about and I do want to pick it up. And also, the cover. I mean, I have Priory of the Orange Tree somewhere on my shelves. I don't know where. I don't think you can see. It's there. Can you see? It's there. Yeah. And I want this next book to be next to that. Like, it's stunning. So I will be picking up a copy. So I will have to read it at some point because I want that book on my shelves. It's just not like urgent like pretty much all of the other books that I've mentioned so far are. But I think it's going to be a really good release. I think Samantha Shannon is a brilliant writer. And yeah, I'm excited for more from this world. On the same day, we have the release of a bind-up collection. So these books have already been released for a while, but they're finally releasing a bind-up edition. And that is Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. Obviously, a bit of a controversial one. Not everybody loves Colleen Hoover. That is fine. I do. I just really like Colleen Hoover's books. They're not literal perfection, but they do make me feel something and I do really enjoy them. So if you don't like Colleen Hoover, that is perfectly fine. Don't pick it up. So this is a interesting synopsis. This could go either way. This could be terrible or it could be really great. We're following Charlie and Silas, who have been in love since they were like kids. They're in a relationship, they love each other, they've been together, and then one day they both lose their memories, which is very interesting. and they have to like go on this journey to not only try and get their memories back, but also uncover why they lost their memories, and then we kind of, like it says, like, should they have left themselves unknowing as to what did it? So I don't know, maybe there's like a traumatic event or something. That would be very Colleen Hoover, wouldn't it? I'm not like blown away by this synopsis, but I do think it's quite interesting. And as it's 3 short stories kind of binded up together to be only 300 pages, I think it's going to be an easy read, and I want to pick up the bind up. I haven't read it before. I don't know if I've read any Tarryn Fisher before. I feel like I have. Like, the name is definitely in my brain. So I can't speak, but I don't remember, so I can't speak on whether I'm going to enjoy their writing or not. But I'm really excited to see this bind up and to read this series. So yeah, I thought I'd mention it, because even though it's technically released, it is a bind up edition, and most people will probably read it now that it's released as a bind up. Next, on March 2nd, we have Clytemnestra, I hope I said that right, by Costanza Casati. Again, it's obviously a mythology retelling, so of course I'm going to pick this up. I'm a huge mythology retelling fan, so obviously this is going to have to be on my shelves. Plus, cover stunning, and I've read a bit about Clytemnestra. Is that her name? I swear that's what they say in the audiobooks that I read. I've read about her in some other books, mainly Electra by Jennifer Saint. So I'm really intrigued to read another book by her. Does it follow anyone else? They usually follow multiple people. No, it doesn't seem to. But yeah, I absolutely love her. I feel like she was such a badass, and again, just like most mythology retellings, it's that I read anyway, it's about men who are trash and hurting women, and I just want to read about this woman who got revenge, because she was absolutely incredible, and I just want to read this adaptation of the story. Let's be honest, I'm gonna pick up any mythology retelling. I just absolutely love them. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for this one. Following on in the same vein, we have Atalanta by Jennifer Saint, which releases on April 13th. Now, this book was made for me because my middle name is Atlanta, which only misses one A, and my birthday is April 15th. So this book is coming out just in time for me and has almost the same name as me. I mean, is that not my book? It is my book. And Connor actually pre-ordered this for Christmas for me, so it'll get there in April. So I know I'm going to get a copy of this on release day, and I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Connor. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. I actually have never heard of this person before. In all my years of reading mythology and whatever, I've never heard of this person. I haven't come across this person, but it says that she's the only woman in the band of heroes, the Argonauts, who I also have no idea who they are. Am I stupid? Maybe. I feel like I know the story because she was born a girl rather than a boy, and so she's left on the side of the mountain to die. So I definitely know the story, but I don't know anything else after that point. I don't know about her upbringing or anything. I'm pretty sure she maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of names in the books I read from mythology writers, and I get a bit overwhelmed. But this one then says that she was actually brought up instead of left to die, and she's the daughter of Artemis, I think. It says under the protective eye of Artemis. I don't know if she's Artemis's child. But yeah, she loves her beautiful forest home, but she's excited to go and get some more adventure. Beautiful. I actually think that might be just the perfect book. So yeah, that is very exciting. That is like probably number 1 release for me this year, I'd say, in excitement levels. Moving on to the 25th of April, we have 2 releases. First of all, we have Ascension by Nicholas Binge. This is a thriller where a iced glacier mountain or something appears in the Pacific Ocean out of absolutely nowhere. And so scientists are super confused at how this has physically happened. And so they are investigating this mountain. And so a group of scientists are hired to go and explore the mountain. So they're going to climb the mountain. But as they climb it, they start to like experience paranoia because like time is moving differently. So like minutes turn into hours and days turn into, I don't know. It's just baffling. Like they just very confused. Time moves differently and their memories begin to fade of who they are. So things start to go a little weird and a little crazy. And so yeah, that just sounds really, really interesting. I think it's going to be kind of scary. I think it's going to be kind of spooky. I don't know why. I don't really want this to have come out in April. I'm not really in my thriller glacier mountain era in April. I'm in that mood in December and January. But it's fine. Maybe I will either pick it up and read it in April, or I will pick it up and read it in the winter season. but I'll still be reading it this year regardless, I'm pretty sure, so I'm excited about that one. The thing I like most about this book is I think it's told in letter format, so we read the story via letters that Harold, our protagonist, is sending to his family from the mountain. That sounds quite interesting to me. On the same day as releasing a very different kind of book, and that is Happy Place by Emily Henry. Emily Henry has been mostly hit for me. I loved Beach Read, and I loved... oh my god, what's her other book? Oh my god, the Booktown one. Oh my god, what is that book? The book set in the Booktown. I don't know. I can't remember. Oh my god, I can't believe I don't remember that. Anyway, but I hated People We Meet on Vacation. Did I even finish that book? I think I did, but I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 1 star. It was awful. But that's a general consensus, I think. People who liked Beach Read don't like that book, and people who don't like Beach Read do like that book. I just really, really hope that Happy Place is more like the other two. Because I really, really don't want to read another People We Meet on Vacation kind of thing. I'm hoping for the fact that the title of the book is only 2 words. That seems like a good sign to me. It's gonna be better. This is following Harriet and Wynne, who broke up 6 months ago but never told their friendship group because they're all best friends and they don't want to make it awkward. And now they're going on a holiday together, and because they haven't told their friends, they don't want to make it uncomfortable, so they spend the week pretending to be together. That sounds kind of cute. I mean, again, it is second chance romance, and I don't know how many times I'm going to say in this video that I'm not a second chance romance girly, but maybe this big influx of second chance romance books that I want to read this year will change me. And I feel like if anybody's going to change me, it's going to be Emily Henry. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that this is a good book and I don't hate it. I mean, it's not even second chance romance. Like, fake dating, that's what I need. So maybe I can just get on with it because I love fake dating so much. June 13th, we have the release of Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Again, a STEMinist novel. Ali Hazelwood, darling, I think we need to like switch it up a little bit. This is the 6th book you've written that is the same synopsis. I'm over it myself. I mean, good for you, it works. Like if it's working for her, good for her. But it's starting to get like a bit much, you know? It says, rival physicists collide in a vortex of academic feuds and fake dating shenanigans in this lightly STEMinist rom-com. Workplace rivals. Again. I almost didn't put this on my list because I was almost like, you know what, Love on the Brain was so bad. This is not going to be good. But I really did enjoy her STEMinist novellas. But again, repetitive. So I really am going to like need it to be switched up soon. But I'm going to try this one. And I think this is going to be like the last Ali Hazelwood I read until they start to release new things. Because as good as it is, I could just reread The Love Hypothesis, which I know I love. You know, I could just do that. So yeah, but hopefully this is good. I'm not going to tell you the full synopsis because there's no point. It's The Love Hypothesis again, okay? The final book that I have to mention for this year is releasing November 23rd, and it is The Temple of Fortuna by Elodie Harper. This is the 3rd book in the Wolf Den series, which I'm not even halfway. I'm like a 1/3 of the way through the 2nd book in this series and have been for 7 months. Let's not talk about it. That is the longest it's ever taken me to read a book because I read it and never picked it back up again. But I still love it. I still think they're a great series. The 1st book was definitely one of the best books I've read. You know, it was so well put together, so well structured, so heart-wrenching. And the 2nd book which started off the same way. I don't know why I'm not picking it up and reading it. But I'm really excited for the conclusion of the series at the end of this year. And I think if it's anywhere near as good as the 1st one, it's going to be brilliant. So those are all the books that I am really excited for and anticipating in 2023. Let me know what your most anticipated book is down below, whether it was on this list or it's not, and maybe I'll uncover some new suggestions for the year. I think it's going to be a good reading year, fingers crossed. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.